Hey everyone, I thought I'd give a quick update on the shop construction project. We're standing right now outside of the basement door, and the shop is going to be built probably 60 feet down that direction. What we're looking at right there is going to be a pathway that goes down to the shop, and there'll be a staircase that goes through the retaining wall, and so it'll provide a nice direct path to get down there. For now, we're going to have to walk around the long way to get down to the job site. Excavation started about 5 weeks ago, and so we cleared the land here and took out probably 4 or 5 trees, and the project is built on a kind of on a slope here, so there's going to be a retaining wall on the left side, and then the low side over here is getting filled in to bring everything up to grade for the building pad. There is a new driveway from the street that comes in and comes down here, and there'll be a parking area in front of the building. The excavator right now is sitting approximately where the front of the building will be, so what we'll have here is a parking area that's about 65 by 60 feet in size. This road right now just has what's called crusher run, this rock on it, and this is just for the construction vehicles to drive on. Once everything is finished, we'll bring in a nicer gravel to finish off everything. As you can see over here, the cut for the retaining wall has been done, and it's ready for the retaining wall folks to come in next week and start building the wall here. The wall at this corner is about the highest point. It's probably going to be 7.5 feet tall or so, and then the retaining wall will run all the way down, probably about 150 feet down to that end, and by that point it'll probably be like 3 or 4 feet tall. So like I said, the place where the excavator is sitting is about the front of the building. The building will be 44 feet wide and 60 feet long. So what's happening right here is this area that's kind of a hole with all this dirt piled around it is staged for compaction and fill next week. And what that means is the building will actually be built on top of this area, and since we're filling in a low side, there's requirements that the soil compacts to what's called 95%, so it's very tightly compacted. And so next week they'll start moving these piles of dirt down into this area to fill it in, and there'll be a soil engineer here to test the soil as they build it up and do compaction tests. They'll be bringing in a big machine called a compactor, and it basically has a giant wheel, and it drives over the ground here, and it compacts it down really hard. So they'll probably put down a foot of soil, and then they'll run the compactor on it and get it compacted down, and then the soil engineer will test it and sign off that it's good, and then they'll proceed to put another layer on until everything is up to grade. The area over here is currently at the building grade, and then eventually all the way over here that will get filled in to the same grade. The retaining wall here will continue down to the back side of the building, which probably about right here is the back of the building, and the retaining wall will continue on probably another 20 or 30 feet, and then the footing drain of the retaining wall, which is a pipe that runs at the base of the wall all the way down, its purpose is to have water will drain through it. Once we get to the end of the wall, there'll be a pipe that goes underground in this trench here. So the water from the footing drain of the retaining wall will drain out there into the woods. There'll be a splash block out there. The retaining wall construction is going to be a rockery, so they'll come in and put in large rocks and stack it up and create a typical rockery wall. So this area we're in right now is behind the workshop, and if we go over here, we can see the area that they're going to be filling in with dirt. So the building will actually be just right after where we're standing here. This area behind the workshop, I'm not exactly sure what I'll do with it yet, but we will have access to drive a vehicle around the house and down the backyard, and you'll be able to drive it, into this area if we need to get a vehicle down here. Otherwise, the air conditioning heat pump unit will be back here, the septic tanks will be back here, and the rest of the space should just be open and mostly flat once they're done. If I ever get into something like metalworking or something like that, I could do some of that outside here. Let's see, what else do we have here? There's going to be a stormwater drainage system that gets installed starting all the way up at the street. There'll be a couple catch basins that get put into the ground. A catch basin is basically a big concrete block that has a grate on top that water goes into, and the catch basins will be connected via pipes all the way down here to along the building, and there will actually be another pipe that goes out into the woods here where the downspouts from the building drain into that. It'll go out to the catch basin out in the woods, and then there'll be a large dispersion trench out there for that water to run into and basically disperse. There'll be another dispersion trench up near the road too. In addition, there's going to be a pipe that goes from the front of the building and goes through these woods and down to a culvert, like a drainage culvert that's all the way down at the lower street. So that's probably 200 or 250 feet through the woods, and that will drain all of the storm water that accumulates on the road, the driveway, or the parking area. So that'll all drain down that way. The reason we have to have kind of an extensive stormwater system is because we're adding about 9,000 square feet of impervious surface with this project. So impervious surface is anything where water doesn't soak into the ground. So the building is impervious surface, and also so is the driveway and the parking area. So that is about it. I'm looking forward to next week, where we get the building pad here completed. All this will get filled in with dirt, and they probably will need to bring in maybe some crusher run for the top layer to finish this off, and all this dirt will be gone too. So the building pad will be mostly complete, and then the retaining wall they're starting Wednesday, and that will they'll take about, I think, 7 or 8 days to finish that. So probably by the end of the following week we'll have all this done. Then the stormwater folks can come in and put in that system. I'm having a surveyor come out next week to survey and mark all the key locations for catch basins and dispersion trenches and stuff like that, so they'll know where to install that. But I expect that within probably 3 to 4 weeks we'll actually start the building construction itself. Spaney Buildings will come out and put in the shell of the building. They've said that process will probably take them 2 or 3 weeks to get the shell of the building up, and then last step will be pouring the concrete floor. Before we can pour the concrete floor, I have to get the electrician and the plumber out here to put in groundwork for anything that goes under the floor, like pipes, like for the sewer, for toilets and showers and sinks, those drains. And then for electrical, there'll be some electrical outlets in the floors that they'll need to do the groundwork before we pour the concrete floor of the building. Once all of that's done, the building will essentially be sealed up, it'll be insulated, all the doors will be on, and then we can start doing the interior finish work, which will involve things like framing in the interior walls, doing the electrical, the plumbing, putting in the kitchenette, sheet rocking, painting, flooring, all that good stuff. So that is about it. I'm excited to see some more good progress happen in the next couple weeks. If you're still watching, thanks for watching to this point, and I'll try to do another update maybe in a month. Thanks.